I previously reviewed the Aquis depth gauge from Oris, a truly clever and innovative timepiece from the brand, and also the most affordable mechanical diver with a depth gauge on the market. Since Oris announced the new ProPilot Big Crown altimeter this year, I thought it would make sense to check out the depth gauge's airborne counterpart. It's the only watch featuring a mechanical altimeter. In addition to telling the time, the Big Crown altimeter can read your altitude because inside the fairly oversized case is a mechanical gauge that responds to changes in barometric pressure. While it's a watch in the ProPilot series, which are clearly aviation-inspired timepieces, there are uses for the watch that don't require a pilot's license, like hiking and skiing, which might be more likely applications for the average watch buyer. Like so many watches from Oris, it's not for the faint of wrist. The steel case measures 47 millimeters wide, 55.5 millimeters lug to lug, and due to the altimeter inside, it's super thick at 18 millimeters. It's a mostly brush finish with some polishing on the backside's case edge, and there's some really cool knurling going on with the crowns and bezel, totally reminiscent of jet engines. The two oversized crowns stick out. The top crown at 2 o'clock controls the time and date, while the bigger crown at 4 o'clock operates the altimeter. While it's screwed down, the altimeter is inactive and the case is 100 meters water resistant. Unscrew this crown and pull it out to the first position to activate the altimeter, but notice the red stripe on the stem warning you that you're trading water resistance in favor of that tool. Now, thanks to a patent-pending crown with a vapor barrier, moisture still shouldn't be able to enter the watch, but you can't submerge it. Pull it out to the second position in order to calibrate the altimeter. It can register up to 4,500 meters, or about 14,500 feet. Notice the outer ring reads the altitude while the inner recessed ring reads the air pressure. How it works is simple. As you climb an altitude, the yellow indicator moves clockwise around the dial, indicating how high up you are. From a usability point of view, Oris does a great job balancing the timekeeping with a measurement tool. Both are accessible without distracting from the other. Through the dome sapphire crystal, you can see some cool 3D effects that make this dial plain interesting even if you're not climbing altitude anywhere. Although the dial is smaller and floating in the middle, it's an overall larger dial to begin with, and the hour markers and hands contrast sharply with the background, so there's no real trouble reading the time. Behind the dial is Oris's caliber 733, which is based on a Sellita SW200. It has 38 hours of power reserve. It's the kind of reliable workhorse you want when you have everything else going on inside the case. There's no getting around its size, but Oris's angled case design makes this watch wear more like a 46, maybe a 45 millimeter watch. It comes on either a textile strap or a steel bracelet. It's 173 grams, so I was worried the textile wouldn't stand up to the weight. But the textile is tough and also light, so while it can more than handle the weight of the case, it doesn't really contribute to the heft. Unlike an Aquis, the ProPilots have traditional lugs where the bracelet and straps aren't integrated, so you can definitely play around with strap options you like, although I have to say I really found this strap to be more comfortable and attractive than I initially thought it would be. The Big Crown altimeter retails for $3,800 on the strap and $4,100 on the bracelet. Alternatives to this watch only exist in the digital world. Casio's and the Citizen Altachron are significantly more affordable options, but they're not mechanical if that's important to you. In contrast with the depth gauge, the common collector might find the altimeter more practical because it can be used for more pedestrian activities like hiking or skiing. However, the size of the watch betrays some of that pragmatism. It's a really interesting watch and I like it, but for my lifestyle and my 6 3/4 inch wrist, the 47 millimeters is just too big for me. It does sit comfortably on the wrist, but it's heavy and thick, so it's not exactly a watch you'll wear to work and then fly out that evening for a ski trip with. You'll want to change a watch.